Hey everyone, Rick here, and folks, it is time for another miniature unboxing. Though this unboxing, there's nothing miniature about it. We have 8 figures that we are going to be unpackaging today. Just returned home from one of my friendly local game shops, Ground Zero Comics and Hobbies in Bellevue, Nebraska, where I picked up 8 of these figures. I promise I'm not going to keep picking up the tripod every 2 seconds, but I just wanted to show you some of the ones that we picked up here. Human Fighter, Elf Cleric, we have a Human Rogue, we have a Fire Genasi Wizard, hopefully we're pronouncing that somewhat accurately, a Tabaxi Rogue, we have a Dragonborn Paladin, we have a Dwarf Cleric, and to go along with our fire, we have a water Genasi Druid. Now, some of these are really exciting. These are all new to me figures, so let's kick things off with the Dragonborn Paladin. And yes, I actually broke out my light box to see if maybe this would do the figures maybe a little bit more justice. I don't know. We'll have to see. So here we are, folks, with the Dragonborn Paladin. And I gotta say, as someone who normally plays humans, and any figure like this that I would find is still going to be a prized figure in my collection. Maybe not one that I would personally play as a PC personally, but I have friends who just prefer figures like this for their player characters, or of course NPCs and or opponents. So I just thought this guy looked really cool. I loved his shield. I love the kind of sculpted ground that he stands on. Of course, like with all of these, they do come with a base as well. So you could glue that on there if you so chose. But I like the detail on his teeth. I like the detail on his armor. His blade looks pretty cool. So I just thought that was a very cool looking figure. And that is, again, is the Dragonborn Paladin. These are all, if you didn't catch it when I first showed them off, these are all Dungeons & Dragons Icons of the Realms premium miniatures from WizKids. Next, let's do the Tabaxi Rogue. And some of these are older ones because they still have the black bases, but my game shop just got them in. And I've never seen them before, so it's always exciting when they get a new shipment of figures in, because whether they're older ones that I just have missed or newer ones, because there are some over here that have the clear bases on them. Okay, so here we go with our Tabaxi Rogue. I may have to scoot this up a little bit because I really want to get this into the light. Yeah, like that. Because look at the face paint on there. That looks so good. And look at just the little details of like the amulet they're wearing, their belt buckle. Look at all the striping on the tail. I mean, that just looks so good. That looks so good. And that is a unique figure that I do not have many, if any, Tabaxi figures in my collection. So super excited about that one. Next up, let's do the Human Rogue. Because again, I'm constantly looking for new human figures, and even if I have a million rogues, I love getting new ones. Because look at this outfit. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Looks like there's a throwing knife on that thigh belt, and the dual blades. I love the translucent blue dripping off of that blade. I'm sure someone who plays Dungeons & Dragons can tell me what kind of rogue trait or ability that is probably representing. But I love the outfit on this one, and this is just another super unique figure. Of course, it's called a human rogue, but you can use this for anything. Again, I love the sculpted base on this one. Very, very cool. Next up, we have the Elf Cleric. Oh, yeah. Some of these I do grab for player characters, but again, NPCs, adversaries, whatever need arises. So this one caught my eye just because of all this armor. I absolutely love it. Flowing cape, love the pose with the arm outstretched, with the mace in hand. That is just very cool. And again, those pupils on the eyes, it just amazes me that they're able to do that. Next, we've got the Dwarf Cleric. I didn't get the best look at his face. Obviously, there's the rendering, but because the package is kind of obscuring it. Because normally, if there's more than one of the same figure, I'll hold them both side by side and compare the two to see which one has the better eyes, which one has better painting on the detail. But the face on this one was obscured by the packaging, so we're going to see together just how good or bad this ends up being. I paid full retail for these from my friendly local game store. They were $10 a piece, $9.99. So I spent like 80 some dollars, including tax, on all these guys. I know, can you believe it? 80 some bucks. $10 a piece. Look at this guy, though. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. This Dwarf Cleric. Now, between the two of these that were available, I definitely picked this one, because this one had the straighter, huge Warhammer, which is very, very cool. You can see the axe designs on it as well. The other one was kind of misshapen, which of course you can always fix in the hot and cold water solution. But if I have the option to avoid having to do that, I will take that option. But I love it. Look at the hand, the outstretched hand. Not a whole lot of detail on the top of that hand. It almost looks like he's wearing a flesh-colored mitten. But from this angle, it looks pretty cool how he's blasting that translucent fire out. And otherwise, a very cool figure. I'm not the biggest fan of dwarves, but every so often, I'll get a cool-looking dwarf figure that makes me rethink everything. Oh, I didn't even announce what this one was. This one is a human fighter, and this is one with a translucent base. And this may be the coolest figure that I picked up today, just because of this. Look at that. Oh my gosh, the weapon and shield combination, the armor on this guy. Again, the sculpted base. This is a incredibly unique figure. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this guy. He is so freaking cool. So this was the first one I grabbed off the shelf. When I saw that they had restocked the figures, this was the first one that caught my eye. And I was like, okay, well, guess I am going to be spending money today. So yeah, I absolutely had to pick him up. Oh, probably, well, yeah, we're not done yet, but possibly my favorite figure of the haul. And then we'll do a recap. Then there are these two. And these are cool for a couple reasons, because they have this extra spell going on with the figure. And these are Genasi. Genasi? I don't know how to pronounce that. Water Genasi Druid and Fire Genasi Druid. I mean, in the packaging, they look pretty cool, right? Like this one, I was like, what the hell is that? Well, apparently it's supposed to be an eyeball. Though the retina and stuff like that on the inside of the eye is very milky white. It's like the eyeball's gone blind. All right, but anyway, let's go ahead and crack these guys open as well. And then we'll do a recap with all 8 of the new figs. And I gotta say, this one is very unique. So even without the base, because it has that integrated base, but you can always glue on the other base, has this staff, but it has this spell effect eyeball, which is very unique. But of course, they themselves are holding up like a fire spell as well. But look at, even, because it's kind of obstructed by all this, but you can see all the tools and gadgets that this individual has on their belts and in their pouches. And then this crazy, creepy eye spell. So yeah, that's pretty nifty. And then that was the fire. Here's the water. And there's something really cool about this one, which is the fact that the water spell is, I don't know if it's supposed to be detachable or like you're supposed to attach it and then always leave it in there, but it looks like it is detachable. But let's look at the guy first. Because again, these are wizards. But look at him. Even without the spell effect, look at how cool he looks. I love like the tattoo or the face paint he's got on. And all these robes and things hanging off of him. I love this staff. Very, very cool figure overall. Very neat looking. And then you have this shimmering water spell effect with these notches that actually go into the back of the integrated base. So they will, slide in there, and it kind of stays on its own. So you could leave it like that without gluing it in, so that you could do something like this. I mean, look how cool that looks. That just looks so cool. And then if you did want to, not maybe, I don't know. Well, see, the thing is, well, I guess you could go something like that. There's probably a way you could still glue him down to this base and leave the water effect as a plug-in. But honestly, the integrated base is flat enough. You may not even need to worry about that too much. And then you can either attach the water spell effect or remove it. Either way, but now let's get everybody in here for a full recap of the figures that we have picked up from the Friendly Local Game Store on this impulsive evening in which I was honestly not intending to buy anything. But some things did just catch my eye. So like that Tabaxi figure, because I don't know, I don't normally always glue them to their bases unless I am afraid that they're not going to be able to stand on their own. And the Tabaxi Rogue is absolutely going to need to be glued to a base. There's just no two ways about that whatsoever. All right, let's get everybody in here. And then zoom on in. So here we go, folks. This is our collection of figures that we have picked up today. 8 new figures, a lot of which are humans. There's an elf, dragonborn, tabaxi, dwarf. Actually, so that means there's maybe humans actually don't really outnumber anybody. Because we do have, a human fighter, a human cleric, and a human rogue. I guess they do outnumber the rest then. But we had less humans than normal for one of these hauls. I think my last figure haul just had an overwhelming amount of humans. But there you have it, folks. That is it. And I'm absolutely loving these figures. As always, great to add to the collection, whether you play Dungeons & Dragons or not. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. And until next time.